Good day, everyone. Welcome to our class. Today, we're going to explore an exciting topic in our GE 323 course, which is People and Earth's Ecosystem. This is our second semester for the school year 2025 to 2026. On this first slide, I want to introduce the theme of our presentation: ecosystems, what they are and how they work. We will look into the basics of ecosystems, their importance, and how they function in our environment. I'm looking forward to guiding you through this fascinating subject. So, let's get started. When we talk about an ecosystem, we're referring to a natural unit that includes all the plants, animals, and microorganisms living in a specific area. But it's not just about the living things. It also involves the non-living physical factors, like sunlight, soil, water, and climate, that all work together. Think of it as a complex, interconnected system where every component interacts with the others. For example, plants depend on sunlight and nutrients from the soil, while animals rely on plants for food and shelter. The weather, temperature, humidity, and even the concentration of gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide all influence how these living organisms thrive. The term ecosystem was introduced by Tansley in 1935. He combined eco, which refers to the environment, with system, emphasizing that it's a network of interdependent parts that function together. Understanding ecosystems is crucial because it helps us see how everything is connected, how the health of one part affects the whole. This idea ties into our overall theme of understanding natural environments and their delicate balances. Today, let's talk about what an ecosystem really is. It's a specific geographic area where a variety of plants, animals, and other organisms all come together. But it's not just about the living things. Weather and landscapes also play a crucial role. Together, they create what I like to think of as a bubble of life, a self-sustaining community. Within this ecosystem, you'll find two main types of factors. First, the biotic factors. These are all the living components like plants, animals, fungi, and bacteria. Then, there are the abiotic factors, which are the non-living elements such as sunlight, water, temperature, and soil. Both of these are essential because they interact and influence each other, shaping the environment and supporting life. Understanding ecosystems helps us see how interconnected everything is. It highlights how the environment and living organisms depend on each other to thrive. Throughout this presentation, we'll explore how these systems function and why they matter so much to our world. Let's talk about the functions of an ecosystem. It plays a crucial role in regulating essential ecological processes. This means it helps maintain the stability of our environment by supporting life systems that we depend on daily. One of its key responsibilities is facilitating the cycling of nutrients between biotic, or living, components and abiotic, or non-living, components. This nutrient cycling is vital for the health of the ecosystem, because it ensures that essential elements like carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus are available where they are needed. Another important aspect is that the ecosystem maintains a delicate balance among various trophic levels, which are basically the different stages of food chains. This balance ensures that energy flows smoothly from producers to consumers and decomposers, keeping the entire system stable. Additionally, the ecosystem cycles minerals through the biosphere, which is the global sum of all ecosystems. This cycling keeps mineral resources moving and accessible for living organisms. The abiotic components, such as air, water, and soil, play a significant role too. They help in the synthesis of organic components and are involved in energy exchanges that sustain life. Without these abiotic factors working in harmony with living organisms, the whole system would break down. Overall, these functions highlight how interconnected and dynamic ecosystems are. They are the backbone of life on Earth, supporting stability, diversity, and resilience in our environment. Let's start with productivity. This term refers to the rate at which biomass is produced in an ecosystem. Essentially, it shows us how quickly living material is generated, which is fundamental for understanding how energy flows and how ecosystems sustain themselves. Moving on to energy flow, this is a sequential process. It describes how energy from the sun is captured by producers, like plants, and then moves through various trophic levels, from herbivores to carnivores, and finally to decomposers. This flow is vital because it illustrates the transfer of energy through the ecosystem and how it sustains all living organisms. Next, decomposition is a crucial process where dead organic material breaks down. The topsoil, in particular, is the major site for this activity. Decomposition not only recycles nutrients, but also helps maintain soil health, enabling plants to grow and continue the cycle. Finally, nutrient cycling is about how nutrients are consumed and then recycled within an ecosystem. These nutrients are transformed into different forms, making them available again for various organisms. This recycling is essential because it ensures the sustainability of the ecosystem over time. All these processes, productivity, energy flow, decomposition, and nutrient cycling, are interconnected. They form the functional units of an ecosystem, working together to maintain balance and support life. Understanding these concepts helps us appreciate the complex, yet beautifully coordinated, systems that sustain our environment. Now, let's talk about some of the essential functions of ecosystems that directly impact our daily lives. First, ecosystems provide and store clean, fresh air, which is vital for our health and well-being. They act as natural air filters, removing pollutants and ensuring we have breathable air. Maintaining good air quality is crucial, especially as urbanization and pollution increase. Next, ecosystems play a key role in regulating the climate. They help stabilize temperatures and weather patterns, which benefits agriculture and reduces the impact of extreme weather events. Speaking of weather, ecosystems also help mitigate floods and runoff. By absorbing excess water, they reduce the risk of flooding and protect communities. Erosion control is another important function. Healthy ecosystems, like forests and wetlands, prevent soil from washing away during storms or heavy rains. This directly supports soil productivity, which is essential for agriculture and food security. Overall, these functions highlight the importance of ecosystems, not just for the environment, but for our health, safety, and economic stability. Protecting and maintaining these natural systems is fundamental to our sustainable future. Let's talk about some of the vital roles ecosystems play in supporting life on Earth. First, ecosystems help store and recycle nutrients, which is essential for maintaining soil fertility and ensuring plants and animals can thrive. They also help abate or decrease noise pollution, providing quieter, more peaceful environments. Additionally, ecosystems contribute to pollinating crops, which is crucial for food production and agricultural sustainability. Maintaining biological and genetic diversity is another key function, as it helps ecosystems stay resilient and adaptable to changes. They also offer recreational opportunities, giving us spaces to relax, connect with nature, and enjoy outdoor activities. Moreover, ecosystems supply habitats for countless species, ensuring their survival and the health of the broader environment. Beyond that, they provide medicines, food, fiber, and energy that we rely on daily. When we consider the importance of ecosystems, it's clear they are fundamental to our well-being and the health of the planet. They support life in countless ways, reinforcing why protecting and preserving them is so vital for our future. An ecosystem can be surprisingly small, like an oasis in a desert, where a tiny patch of water supports a variety of life. Or it can be vast, stretching across oceans that span thousands of miles, hosting countless species. When we talk about ecosystems, there are two main types to keep in mind: terrestrial ecosystems, which are land-based, and aquatic ecosystems, which are water-based. These categories help us understand the different environments where life exists and how they support different forms of life. Recognizing these types is key to understanding the diversity and complexity of ecosystems around us, and it ties directly into our overall theme of exploring how interconnected and vital these natural systems are. Terrestrial ecosystems are those that are exclusively land-based, meaning they exist on the Earth's surface rather than in water. Now, let's explore some of the key types within this category. First, we have the forest ecosystem. This includes a variety of plants, especially trees, along with animals and microorganisms that live among them. Forests play a crucial role in our planet's health. They help regulate temperature and act as major carbon sinks, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Next is the grassland ecosystem. As the name suggests, these areas are dominated by grasses and herbs. They often support large herbivores and are vital for many species' survival. Then there's the tundra ecosystem. These regions are quite extreme, lacking trees and usually found in cold climates or areas with very little rainfall. They're often covered with snow for most of the year and are typically located in the Arctic or on mountain tops. Finally, we have desert ecosystems. These are characterized by very little rainfall and scarce vegetation. The days tend to be extremely hot, while the nights can be quite cold. All these terrestrial ecosystems are interconnected parts of the overall health of our planet. They influence climate, support biodiversity, and provide vital resources. Understanding them helps us appreciate the diversity and complexity of life on land. Aquatic ecosystems are water-based environments that play a crucial role in our planet's health and biodiversity. When we talk about freshwater ecosystems, we're referring to habitats like lakes, ponds, rivers, streams, and wetlands. These areas are characterized by having no salt content, which makes them quite different from marine environments. Freshwater ecosystems are vital for drinking water, agriculture, and supporting a wide variety of plant and animal life. On the other hand, marine ecosystems include seas and oceans. These are much larger and have a higher salt content, which influences the types of species that can live there. The marine environment also boasts greater biodiversity, hosting countless species of fish, mammals, invertebrates, and plant life. This diversity is essential for maintaining the balance of global ecosystems and supporting life on Earth. So, in essence, aquatic ecosystems encompass a broad range of water habitats, each with unique characteristics and importance. Understanding these ecosystems helps us appreciate the diversity and complexity of life supported by water, which ties back to our overall theme of environmental conservation and sustainability. Let's take a closer look at the levels of organization of matter in nature, as shown in this figure. This image credit goes to CNGGNOW, and it highlights how matter is organized across different scales. The key point here is that ecology mainly focuses on the top 5 levels of these levels of organization. These levels include atoms, molecules, cells, organisms, and populations. Each level represents a different scale of complexity, from the smallest particles like atoms to groups of organisms like populations. Understanding these levels helps us see how everything in nature is interconnected, which is fundamental to ecology. For example, changes at the atomic or molecular level can have ripple effects all the way up to entire ecosystems. Recognizing this hierarchy emphasizes how vital it is to study these different levels to grasp the bigger picture of environmental systems. Remember, this organization helps us understand the complexity of life and the environment, reinforcing the overall theme of interconnectedness in ecology. So, as we move forward, keep in mind how these levels build upon one another to shape the natural world around us. Let's talk about the word ecology, which actually comes from 2 Greek words, oikos, meaning house or place to live, and logos, meaning study of. So, ecology is essentially the study of how organisms interact with their environment, both the living parts like other organisms and the non-living parts like soil, water, and energy from the sun. It's about understanding the processes that influence natural life and habitats. This field gives us crucial knowledge about how humans depend on nature, whether it's for food production, clean air and water, or maintaining biodiversity, especially as our climate changes. For example, when we study humans and their relationship with the environment, that's called human ecology. It's a way of understanding the interconnectedness between us and the natural world, which ties right into the overall theme of sustainability and our role within ecosystems. Let's talk about biotic and abiotic components. When we refer to biotic factors, we're talking about all the living things in an environment, plants, animals, fungi, bacteria, the stuff that has life. These organisms interact with each other and with their surroundings, shaping the ecosystem in many ways. On the other hand, abiotic factors are the non-living parts of the environment. This includes things like sunlight, temperature, water, soil, and air. These elements don't have life, but they greatly influence the living organisms around them. Understanding the difference between biotic and abiotic factors is crucial because they are interconnected. The health of an ecosystem depends on how well these living and non-living components work together. For example, plants, biotic, need sunlight and water, abiotic, to grow, and animals depend on plants and water for survival. So, as we explore ecosystems, keep in mind that both biotic and abiotic factors are key players. They create the conditions that support life and determine the stability and diversity of ecosystems. Recognizing this interconnectedness helps us better understand how ecosystems function and how we can protect them. Biotic factors refer to all living organisms in an ecosystem, and that includes everything from animals and humans to plants, fungi, and bacteria. You see, these living components are essential because they play a crucial role in the survival and reproduction of each species. Their presence, along with the biological byproducts they produce, such as waste or organic matter, are necessary for maintaining the balance of the ecosystem and fulfilling vital needs like food. When we talk about biotic resources, we're referring to all the living parts of an ecosystem. This includes producers, which are typically plants that make their own food through photosynthesis, consumers, which are animals and other organisms that eat plants or other animals, decomposers, such as fungi and bacteria that break down dead organic material, and detritivores, which feed on dead organic matter. Understanding these biotic factors is key to grasping how ecosystems function and sustain life. They are interconnected, and their interactions drive the cycle of life, making it all the more important to recognize how vital they are for the health of our environment. Abiotic factors are all the non-living components that influence an ecosystem. These include chemical and physical elements present in the atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. They play a crucial role in determining whether species can survive and reproduce successfully. For example, in terrestrial ecosystems, abiotic factors encompass air quality, weather conditions, water availability, temperature, humidity, altitude, and soil characteristics like pH and soil type. These factors shape the environment and affect how organisms adapt and thrive. In aquatic ecosystems, the key abiotic factors include water salinity, oxygen levels, pH, water flow rate, depth, and temperature. These physical and chemical conditions directly influence aquatic life, from tiny plankton to large fish. Understanding these abiotic elements helps us see how ecosystems function and how living organisms are affected by their non-living surroundings. They're essential for maintaining the balance of any ecosystem we study. To summarize, what we've covered today highlights the core ideas that underpin our overall message. First, we've discussed the key points thoroughly, making sure we understand their significance and how they fit into the bigger picture. I want to emphasize the most important concepts. These are the building blocks that drive our strategy forward. Connecting these points to the overall theme helps us see how each piece contributes to our goals and vision. Remember, this summary is about solidifying our understanding and ensuring we're all aligned as we move ahead. Organisms are highly organized, coordinated structures that consist of one or more cells. Even very simple, single-celled organisms are surprisingly complex. Inside each cell, atoms come together to form molecules, which then build up cell organelles and other cellular inclusions. This intricate internal structure is fundamental to how life functions. All organisms also need a source of energy to carry out their metabolic activities. Some capture energy directly from the sun through a process called photosynthesis, converting sunlight into chemical energy stored in food. Others rely on chemical energy contained in molecules they absorb as food, using a process known as cellular respiration to generate the energy they need. And then there's motility, the ability to move on their own. This self-propelled movement is a key indicator of life. Even bacteria, which are incredibly simple organisms, can move independently. The capacity for movement not only helps organisms find food and escape predators, but also demonstrates their active engagement with their environment. So these features, organization, metabolism, and motility, are fundamental characteristics that help us identify and understand what makes something alive, whether here on Earth or potentially elsewhere, like on Mars. Now let's talk about responsiveness. Organisms are constantly reacting to their environment, responding to a variety of stimuli. For example, bacteria can move toward or away from certain chemicals, a process known as chemotaxis, or they might move toward or away from light, called phototaxis. These movements are considered positive or negative responses, depending on whether they are attracted or repelled. Next, let's look at reproduction. Single-celled organisms reproduce by duplicating their DNA first, and then dividing it equally so they can split into two new cells. In multicellular organisms, reproduction often involves specialized germline cells that will develop into new individuals. This process ensures the continuity of the species. Finally, there's growth and development. Organisms grow and develop following specific instructions encoded in their genes. These genetic instructions guide cellular processes, ensuring that the offspring develop the characteristic traits of their species, much like their parents. All of these features, responsiveness, reproduction, and growth, tie back to what makes something truly alive. Let's talk about heredity first. Heredity is the process by which genetic characters are transmitted from parents to their offspring. It's the reason why children often resemble their parents in traits and characteristics. Biologists have identified specific units of inheritance called genes, which control an organism's traits. These genes are like instructions stored in our DNA that determine how we develop and function. Moving on to evolution, this is the change in life forms over time. Evolution explains how species adapt to their environments and how new species can emerge. It's a fundamental concept because it shows that life is constantly changing and evolving through generations. Now let's discuss homeostasis, which literally means steady state. This is the ability of an organism to maintain constant internal conditions, like temperature, pH, and water balance, despite changes in the external environment. Homeostasis is crucial because it keeps our bodies functioning properly, ensuring survival even when conditions around us fluctuate. Together, these concepts, heredity, evolution, and homeostasis, are key characteristics of life. They help us understand how living organisms grow, adapt, and maintain stability, which ties into the broader theme of what makes something alive. Let's take a closer look at the key characteristics that define life. First, we have order, which means that living organisms have a specific structure and organization that sets them apart from non-living things. Each part has a role and fits into a larger system. Next is metabolism, the sum of all chemical processes happening within an organism. These processes are essential because they break down molecules to release energy or build new parts, keeping the organism alive and functioning. Motility refers to an organism's ability to move themselves or their parts using their own power. This movement is vital for finding food, escaping danger, or seeking mates. Responsiveness is about how organisms perceive their environment and react to changes. Whether it's a plant bending towards sunlight or a human reflexively pulling away from something hot, responsiveness helps organisms survive. Reproduction ensures the continuation of a species. Organisms give rise to new individuals, passing on their genetic information to the next generation. Development involves a series of organized, progressive changes that increase an organism's complexity over time. This process transforms a single cell into a fully formed individual. Heredity is the transfer of genetic information, genes, from parent to offspring. These genes control physical traits, chemical reactions, and behaviors, shaping each organism's unique characteristics. Evolution is the process through which populations of organisms change over generations. This happens as they adapt to their environment, develop new survival strategies, and improve their ability to obtain and use energy. Adaptations are specific structures or behaviors that make an organism better suited to its environment. These traits develop over time, helping the organism survive and reproduce more successfully. Finally, homeostasis is the ability to maintain a stable internal environment despite external changes. This regulation is crucial for survival, keeping conditions like temperature, pH, and fluid balance within narrow limits. All of these characteristics are interconnected. Each structure or activity exists in relation to the others, forming a complex, dynamic system. Organized chemical steps allow organisms to generate energy and build the parts they need. Movement, responsiveness, reproduction, development, heredity, evolution, adaptations, and homeostasis all work together to define what it truly means to be alive. Today, I want to take a closer look at some of the major ecosystems that are crucial for our planet's health. First up, we have tropical rainforests. These lush forests are incredibly rich in biodiversity and play a vital role in regulating the Earth's climate. Next, we have grasslands, which are expansive open areas dominated by grasses and are essential for supporting a variety of herbivores and predators. Moving on, freshwater biomes include rivers, lakes, and wetlands. These are vital sources of drinking water, food, and recreation for millions of people. Then, we have coral ecosystems, which are underwater wonderlands that support a vast array of marine life and help protect coastlines from erosion. Following that, we find mangrove ecosystems, which are unique coastal forests that serve as nurseries for fish and protect shorelines from storm surges. Lastly, focusing on our home country, the Philippines, we see that it boasts a diverse range of these ecosystems, from rainforests to coral reefs, which are essential for biodiversity, livelihoods, and climate resilience. Recognizing these ecosystems helps us understand the importance of protecting and sustainably managing them to ensure a healthier planet for future generations. Today, I want to talk about tropical rainforests. These incredible ecosystems are often called the lungs of the Earth because they produce a huge amount of the world's oxygen. They're located near the equator, mainly in regions like the Amazon, Congo, and Southeast Asia. What makes them so vital is their incredible biodiversity, home to more species of plants, animals, and insects than any other land habitat. This diversity supports not only the local climate and water cycles, but also provides resources for humans, from medicines to food. Tropical rainforests are characterized by warm temperatures and high rainfall throughout the year, which creates a lush, dense canopy that's teeming with life. This constant growth cycle helps maintain the planet's overall health, but it's also under threat from deforestation, often driven by agriculture and logging. Connecting this to our overall theme, rainforests are essential for maintaining global climate stability. Their preservation is crucial, not just for the species that live there, but for all of us. Protecting these environments ensures we continue to benefit from their many ecological services. Because a tropical rainforest is so rich in plants, the nutrients in the soil are quickly absorbed by these dense roots and vegetation. This means that the soil doesn't hold onto nutrients for very long. As a result, the soil here absorbs very little organic matter over time, because the nutrients are constantly being used up and recycled by the thriving plant life. This rapid nutrient uptake is a key characteristic of tropical rainforests, and it's important to understand because it influences how these ecosystems function and how fragile they can be if disturbed. It really highlights how interconnected and efficient these environments are, but also how delicate their nutrient balance can be. Now, when we talk about tropical rainforests in the Philippines, one prominent location that comes to mind is MT Macling. It's actually one of the key areas where these lush, vibrant forests thrive. Interestingly, most of our tropical rainforests are found in specific regions like Zambales, Palawan, and Mountain Province. But MT Macling really stands out because of its rich biodiversity. This mountain is not just a beautiful landmark. It's a vital part of our natural heritage. Tropical rainforests like those on Mt. Mackling are incredibly important because they support a wide variety of plant and animal species, help regulate our climate, and provide resources for local communities. So, when we see Mt. Mackling, we're actually looking at a living, breathing example of our tropical rainforest ecosystems. This ties into our overall theme of understanding the importance of conserving these vital natural resources for future generations. This slide highlights the richness of the grasslands in this area. As you can see, it is abundant with grasses, which form the foundation of this ecosystem. There are many different species of grasses and wildflowers growing here, adding to the diversity and beauty of the landscape. The vegetation is particularly dense near the river, where the water provides essential moisture, supporting a lush plant community. This dense vegetation creates an ideal habitat for a variety of animals, such as rats, insects, snakes, and birds, which thrive in these conditions. Overall, these grasslands are a vital part of the ecosystem, supporting both plant and animal life and contributing to the overall health of the environment. Let's take a closer look at some of the popular grasslands in the Philippines. Here, we have the Dole Plantation Farm in Bukidnon, which is quite well known. Bukidnon itself is famous for its expansive grasslands that are vital for agriculture and for supporting local ecosystems. Moving on, another notable grassland is located at Mt. Pulag, which is renowned for its stunning sea of clouds and high-altitude grassland ecosystem. Then we have Cotabato City, which also features important grassland areas that contribute to the region's biodiversity. Overall, these grasslands play a crucial role not just in agriculture, but also in maintaining the ecological balance across the country. They are integral parts of our natural environment, and understanding their significance helps us appreciate the diversity of the Philippine landscape. Now let's take a closer look at the habitats for aquatic organisms. When we talk about these habitats, we're referring to environments that support a wide variety of life, including fishes, lilies, algae, and cattails. These habitats are essential for the survival of many species and serve as crucial ecosystems. They include rivers, lakes, and estuaries, each with unique characteristics that influence the types of organisms that live there. Rivers are flowing bodies of freshwater, providing oxygen and nutrients that many aquatic species depend on. Lakes are larger, still bodies of water that support diverse communities, from tiny algae to large fish. Estuaries are especially important because they are transitional zones where freshwater from rivers mixes with saltwater from the ocean, creating rich, productive environments. All of these environments together form what we call freshwater biomes. These biomes are vital not only for supporting aquatic life, but also for providing resources that humans rely on, such as water for drinking, agriculture, and industry. Understanding these habitats helps us appreciate the complexity and importance of freshwater ecosystems within the broader context of our planet's biodiversity. Let's take a closer look at the Cagayan River. It is a long body of water that flows toward another river, a lake, or even the ocean. Think of it as a major water highway that connects different parts of the landscape. For example, the Pasig River, Marikina River, Cagayan River itself, and the Pampanga River are all part of this network. These rivers are essential because they support freshwater biomes, which are vital habitats for many plants and animals. Understanding these rivers helps us appreciate how interconnected freshwater ecosystems are and how they contribute to the overall health of our environment. So, when we talk about rivers like the Cagayan River, we're really highlighting the importance of these waterways in sustaining life and maintaining ecological balance. Taal Lake is a great example of a large body of water that is completely surrounded by land. It's a fascinating feature because it creates a unique ecosystem within its boundaries. When we think of lakes like Taal Lake, Laguna de Bay, Lake Calaurea, or Najan Lake, we see how they are all freshwater biomes that support diverse plant and animal life. Lakes like these are important because they provide water for drinking, irrigation, and even recreation. They also play a crucial role in maintaining ecological balance in their regions. As we explore freshwater biomes, remember that lakes are typically characterized by their still, freshwater environment, which makes them vital habitats for many species. So, Tall Lake isn't just a beautiful sight, it's an essential part of the ecosystem that sustains life around it. So, here we see the junction of water, which is where freshwater from rivers, streams, and lakes meets the salty ocean. This area is really important because it creates a unique environment that supports a rich variety of life. You'll find many fishes and shellfishes thriving in these waters, making it a vital habitat for aquatic biodiversity. An example of this type of environment is the mangrove, which not only provides shelter for many species, but also helps protect coastlines. These areas are classified as freshwater biomes, specifically called estuaries. They're essential for maintaining ecological balance and supporting both marine and terrestrial ecosystems, tying into our overall theme of the diversity and importance of different biomes. Let's take a closer look at the Manjagao Mangrove Forest in Surigao City. This forest is characterized by tall, evergreen trees that form a dense and vibrant ecosystem. What makes mangroves fascinating is their roots. They twist upward and downward, creating a complex network that provides stability and habitat. Some of these mangroves thrive in more saline environments, meaning they can tolerate salty water, while others are adapted to freshwater areas. This adaptability highlights how resilient and vital mangroves are to different coastal conditions. Understanding these unique features underscores the importance of mangroves in protecting coastlines, supporting biodiversity, and maintaining ecological balance. It's a perfect example of nature's incredible ability to adapt and thrive in challenging environments, which ties into our overall theme of conservation and sustainability. Extreme conditions such as temperature fluctuations, high salinity, fierce winds, intense solar radiation, aridity, and flooding create a challenging environment for life. Because of these harsh factors, only a few organisms are able to survive or thrive here. When we look at these areas, we're often talking about marginal forests, those edge ecosystems that exist under such extreme conditions. These forests are fascinating because they show us how life can adapt to some of the most challenging environments on Earth. Understanding these habitats helps us appreciate the resilience of nature and how ecosystems are shaped by their surroundings, even the most extreme ones. Let's take a moment to appreciate the Tabataha Reef, which is truly one of the most colorful and beautiful natural resources in the world. It's not just visually stunning, but it's also incredibly rich in marine life. When we talk about diversity in marine animals, places like Tabataha come to mind because they host a wide variety of species, from vibrant fish to majestic sharks and other marine creatures. For example, the Tabataha Reef itself is a prime example of a thriving coral reef system. Coral reefs are like the rainforests of the ocean. They support an incredible amount of biodiversity and are essential for maintaining healthy marine ecosystems. Connecting this to our overall theme, protecting these reefs means preserving a vital part of our natural heritage and ensuring that future generations can also experience their beauty and ecological importance. Let's take a closer look at the Baguio Botanical Garden. This is a great example of a man-made ecosystem that was built to serve human needs while also caring for other organisms that require habitats. Essentially, it's a space designed not only for our enjoyment and education, but also to support the plants and animals that live there. You can think of similar environments like fish ponds, botanical gardens, wildlife sanctuaries, and farms. All of these are created or managed by humans to provide suitable habitats for various forms of life. They illustrate how humans can intentionally design ecosystems that benefit both us and the organisms that depend on these environments. This concept of man-made ecosystems ties into our overall theme, which is about understanding the different types of ecosystems, natural and artificial, and how humans play a role in shaping and maintaining them. It's a reminder that we have a responsibility to create sustainable environments that support biodiversity and ecological health. Today, I want to highlight the Ninu Aquino Parks and Wildlife Center in Quezon City, which is a prime example of a wildlife sanctuary. These sanctuaries are specially built to protect endangered species, such as our very own Philippine eagle, tarsiers, and tamaras. They serve as safe havens where these animals can thrive away from threats like deforestation and hunting. Now, when we talk about these spaces, we're also referring to man-made ecosystems. These are ecosystems created by humans to support and preserve wildlife. They play a crucial role in conserving biodiversity, especially for species that are critically endangered. By establishing wildlife sanctuaries and man-made ecosystems, we're actively working to sustain the natural balance and ensure future generations can enjoy these incredible animals. It's a vital part of our overall effort to protect our environment and the rich biodiversity of the Philippines. Now, let's take a closer look at the city of Makati. As you can see, urban ecosystems refer to the various built environments like cities, towns, and even the strips of development that connect them. These are essentially the areas where human activity dominates the landscape. When we talk about man-made ecosystems, we're focusing on how these urban spaces function as ecosystems in their own right. They are complex systems where human infrastructure, buildings, roads, and parks all interact with each other. Understanding these man-made ecosystems is crucial because they shape our daily lives and influence the overall health of our environment. This ties back to the broader theme of how human development interacts with natural systems and how we can manage these spaces more sustainably for the future. As we look at slums in Manila, it's important to understand how the ongoing increase in population impacts these areas. As more people move in, natural ecosystems that once thrived are being destroyed, often by human activities like construction and deforestation. This rapid urban growth puts immense pressure on the environment and the communities living there. Currently, the Philippines has a population of over 109 million people, making it the 12th most populous country in the world. This large population is a significant factor contributing to the expansion of urban areas and the development of slums in cities like Manila. Understanding this connection helps us see how population growth and environmental degradation are intertwined, and it emphasizes the need for sustainable solutions that balance development with environmental preservation. This is a critical aspect of the overall challenge we are discussing today. Let's talk about what a limiting factor is for a population. Essentially, it's anything that restricts the growth or size of a population. Common examples include the unavailability of food, water, space, or other vital resources. When these essentials are scarce, they act as natural brakes on population expansion. For instance, if there's not enough food or water, individuals can't survive or reproduce effectively, which keeps the population in check. Similarly, limited space can lead to increased competition and stress among individuals. These factors are crucial because they help us understand how populations are regulated in nature. They tie into the overall theme of how ecosystems maintain balance and prevent overpopulation. So, recognizing these limiting factors gives us insight into the delicate balance of life and resources in any environment. So, here's an important concept about population stability. A population remains the same size when the number of people born equals the number of people who die. That balance is what keeps the population steady over time. Additionally, it's not just about births and deaths. Migration also plays a role. If there are no net changes from migration, meaning people moving in and out at the same rate, the overall population size stays constant. This balance between birth and death rates, combined with stable migration patterns, is key to understanding how populations can stay consistent in size, even as individual numbers fluctuate. It ties into the bigger picture of how populations grow, shrink, or stay stable over time. Let's take a closer look at the population trends of the Philippines over time. As you can see in this slide, we're examining how the population size has changed throughout different periods. This visual highlights key moments when the population either grew rapidly or experienced some slowdown, which can be linked to various social, economic, and political factors. Understanding these patterns is crucial because they influence everything from resource allocation to policy planning. By analyzing this trend, we can better grasp the overall demographic shifts that shape the country's development. It's a reminder of how dynamic population changes are and how they connect to our broader discussion on sustainable growth and development in the Philippines. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. In industrialized countries, we've seen a significant decline in death rates over the years. This progress is largely due to advancements in healthcare, medicine, and technology. These developments have made it possible to treat illnesses more effectively, prevent diseases, and improve overall health outcomes. It's important to recognize that these improvements are a key part of the broader story of how societies are evolving and how our quality of life is increasing. This trend also highlights the importance of continued innovation and investment in health-related fields to sustain and further this positive trajectory. So, even though some countries are still developing, they face serious survival challenges mainly because of food shortages. This leads to high levels of malnutrition and hunger among their populations. It's a tough cycle because without proper nutrition, people's health suffers, making it even harder to improve living conditions. In these underdeveloped countries, we also see that the birth rate tends to stay very high. This might be due to cultural factors or limited access to family planning, but it means populations can grow rapidly. At the same time, the death rate has actually been decreasing, thanks to improvements in healthcare, sanitation, and overall living conditions. So, while more children are being born, fewer people are dying young, which can lead to population growth issues. This connects directly to the broader theme of global development and health disparities. It highlights how uneven progress can create complex challenges for these nations as they try to improve living standards for their populations. Family planning plays a key role in shaping healthier communities and empowering individuals to make informed choices about their reproductive health. When we talk about family planning, we're really focusing on giving people the tools and resources they need to plan if and when they want to have children. This not only benefits families by allowing them to space pregnancies and improve health outcomes, but it also contributes to broader societal goals like reducing poverty and promoting gender equality. Throughout this presentation, we've seen how access to family planning services is essential for sustainable development and overall well-being. So, understanding its importance helps us see how vital it is to support policies and programs that make family planning accessible for everyone. Today, I want to talk about the state of the Philippine ecosystems. As we've seen throughout this presentation, ecosystems are the foundation of our environment, providing us with vital resources and supporting biodiversity. When we look at the current situation in the Philippines, we see that many of these ecosystems are facing significant challenges. Deforestation, pollution, and urbanization have all taken a toll, leading to habitat loss and a decline in biodiversity. Despite these challenges, it's important to recognize the resilience of our ecosystems and the efforts being made to protect and restore them. For example, reforestation projects and community-led conservation initiatives are showing promising results. But we must also acknowledge that ongoing threats require sustained action and awareness. This slide ties into our overall theme of responsible environmental stewardship, reminding us that the health of our ecosystems directly impacts our well-being and future. So, understanding their current state helps us appreciate the urgency of our collective efforts to preserve and rehabilitate these vital natural systems. The Philippines is actually one of the 17 countries in the world that are considered to be the most biologically rich. This means our nation hosts an incredibly diverse range of plants, animals, and ecosystems. It's a remarkable asset because this biodiversity not only supports our natural environment, but also underpins our economy, culture, and way of life. Recognizing this fact really emphasizes the importance of conserving our natural resources. It also highlights how our unique biological wealth contributes to global biodiversity, making the Philippines a vital part of the planet's ecological health. So, understanding this context helps us appreciate the value of protecting our environment for future generations and aligning our development with sustainability. The Philippines is truly special when it comes to biodiversity. It's one of the few nations in the world where the entire country qualifies as both a biodiversity hotspot and a megadiversity country. What does that mean exactly? Well, a biodiversity hotspot is an area that has an exceptionally high level of plant and animal diversity, but it's also under significant threat from human activities. Being a megadiversity country means that the Philippines harbors a vast number of species, more than many other nations, making it incredibly rich in life. This dual status underscores just how crucial it is for us to prioritize conservation efforts here. The Philippines isn't just a country with diverse species, it's a global priority for protecting our planet's biological heritage. Recognizing this helps us understand why our work here is so vital, not only for the local communities, but for the health of the entire planet. It's a powerful reminder that conserving the Philippines means conserving a significant part of the world's natural diversity. Now let's turn our attention to MS Dolas and AC Alcala. They will help us explore an important concept. What is biodiversity? Biodiversity refers to the variety of life on Earth, the different plants, animals, fungi, and microorganisms that make up our ecosystems. It's not just about having lots of species, it's also about how these species interact and depend on each other. Next, we might ask, is biodiversity really important? The answer is a resounding yes. Biodiversity is essential for maintaining healthy ecosystems, which in turn support our food systems, clean water, air, and even climate regulation. It provides us with resources like medicine, materials, and food, and it also plays a crucial role in resilience, helping ecosystems recover from disturbances. So, understanding what biodiversity is and appreciating its importance helps us see why protecting it should be a priority. It connects directly to our overall theme of sustainability and the need to preserve our planet for future generations. Now, let's look at some of the crucial roles ecosystems play in regulating our environment. First, gas regulation is vital. Think about how ecosystems help maintain the balance of gases like CO2 and O2. They also produce ozone, which provides a natural shield against harmful UVB rays from the sun. Moving on, climate regulation is another key function. Ecosystems help manage greenhouse gases, which influence global temperatures and climate patterns. Then there's disturbance regulation. This is about how nature helps protect us from extreme events. For example, forests and wetlands can shield us from storms, reduce flood risks, and even help with drought recovery. Next, erosion control and sediment retention are essential because they prevent the loss of soil through wind, runoff, or other removal processes. Healthy ecosystems act like natural barriers, keeping our soil intact. Finally, understanding the importance of biodiversity is fundamental because it underpins all these ecosystem services. The diversity of life ensures that these functions are resilient and sustainable, supporting not just the environment, but also human well-being. In essence, biodiversity is the foundation that keeps our ecosystems functioning effectively, providing the services we rely on every day. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the vital roles that ecosystems play in supporting our environment and our well-being. First, nutrient cycling is fundamental. It's the process by which nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus move through the soil, water, and living organisms. This cycling ensures that nutrients are available where they're needed, maintaining soil fertility and supporting plant growth. Next, we have disturbance regulation. Ecosystems provide natural protection against extreme weather events. For example, forests and wetlands can buffer storm surges, reducing flood risks, and they also help with drought recovery by maintaining water availability during dry periods. These functions are crucial for protecting communities and agriculture. Water regulation is another key point. Ecosystems help regulate water flow, ensuring clean water is available when needed. They produce water for industrial and agricultural use by filtering and storing it, which is essential for our economies and food production. Then there's water supply itself. Watersheds, reservoirs, and aquifers act as natural reservoirs, providing a steady supply of water for homes, industry, and ecosystems. Without these natural systems, our water security would be severely compromised. Finally, I want to emphasize the overall importance of biodiversity. Biodiversity underpins all these ecosystem services. The variety of life ensures resilience and adaptability, allowing ecosystems to continue providing essential functions that support human life and the health of our planet. So, in summary, these ecosystem services, nutrient cycling, disturbance regulation, and water supply, are interconnected and vital. They highlight why preserving biodiversity isn't just about nature's beauty, but about maintaining the foundation of life and human well-being on Earth. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the regulating services that biodiversity provides. These services play a crucial role in maintaining the balance of our ecosystems and supporting life on Earth. First, we have invasion resistance, which is the ability of native ecosystems to resist the invasion of non-native species. This helps protect local biodiversity and ecosystem stability. Next is herbivory, where plants are eaten by herbivores, which helps control plant populations and promotes healthy growth cycles. Pollination is another vital service. It's essential for the reproduction of many plants, including crops that we rely on for food. Without pollinators like bees and butterflies, many of these plants wouldn't be able to produce seeds or fruits. Seed dispersal is closely linked. Animals help spread seeds across different areas, enabling plant populations to grow and ecosystems to expand naturally. Climate regulation is a key service provided by forests and other ecosystems, acting as carbon sinks that help mitigate climate change. Pest regulation is also critical. Natural predators keep pest populations in check, reducing the need for chemical controls and supporting sustainable agriculture. Natural hazard protection involves ecosystems like wetlands and mangroves that buffer against storms, floods, and erosion, protecting communities and infrastructure. Erosion regulation is another important service. Roots of plants stabilize soil, preventing erosion and maintaining soil fertility. Water purification is a process where ecosystems naturally filter pollutants from water, ensuring clean water sources for both humans and wildlife. All these services highlight the importance of biodiversity, reminding us that healthy ecosystems provide us with essential benefits and help sustain life on our planet. Now let's explore the importance of biodiversity, starting with ecosystem services. These are the benefits that nature provides us, such as clean air, water, pollination of crops, and climate regulation. They are the foundation of our survival and well-being. Moving on to cultural services, these are the non-material benefits we receive from nature that enrich our lives in many ways. For example, spiritual and religious values often connect us to specific landscapes or natural features, fostering a sense of reverence and identity. Our knowledge systems are also deeply intertwined with biodiversity. Indigenous and local communities have accumulated valuable knowledge about ecosystems and species, which helps us understand and sustainably manage our environment. Education and research are crucial as well. Biodiversity offers countless opportunities for learning, whether through studying ecosystems, discovering new species, or understanding ecological relationships. Recreation and aesthetic values highlight how nature provides us with beauty and leisure. Think about hiking, birdwatching, or simply appreciating a scenic landscape. These experiences inspire and rejuvenate us. Finally, the sense of place and inspiration that biodiversity offers can shape our cultural identity and creativity. Unique landscapes and diverse species can inspire art, literature, and innovations, connecting us to our environment on a deeper level. All these aspects underscore why biodiversity isn't just about the natural world. It's about our very way of life and our future. Let's take a closer look at the diverse types of forests found in the Philippines. First, we have the lowland rainforest, which is characterized by its lush, dense vegetation and high biodiversity. These forests are typically found at lower elevations and are vital for their rich ecosystems. Moving up in elevation, we encounter the montane rainforest, which has different plant and animal species adapted to cooler, more humid conditions. Next, the mossy rainforest is usually found at higher elevations, where mosses and lichens dominate, creating a unique, almost mystical landscape. Then there's the pine forest, commonly found in mountainous areas, which plays a crucial role in watersheds and offers a different kind of habitat. The karst or limestone forest is distinctive because of its rocky terrain and underground caves, supporting specialized flora and fauna. Lastly, we have the mangrove forest, which is incredibly important for coastal protection, serving as breeding grounds for many marine species and helping to maintain the health of our coastal ecosystems. These various forest types illustrate the incredible ecological diversity of the Philippines and highlight the importance of conserving each of these unique environments as part of our overall effort to protect the country's natural heritage. Throughout history, we have provided our indigenous brothers and sisters with essential resources such as food, medicines, timber, non-timber forest products, and fuel. These resources have sustained communities for generations, demonstrating that when managed and protected properly, they can be produced sustainably. It's a testament to the deep relationship and mutual reliance between people and forests. Our forests are not only vital for local livelihoods, but also incredibly rich in biodiversity. They host one of the world's most diverse ranges of plant and animal species. For example, there are over 8,120 species of flowering plants, showcasing the incredible variety of flora. Among these, around 3,500 are indigenous trees, many of which are crucial for both ecological balance and local economies. We also find 33 species of gymnosperms, which include some of the most ancient types of plants. Mosses, although small, number around 640 species and play a key role in forest ecosystems. When it comes to animals, there are around 240 species and subspecies of mammals inhabiting these forests, highlighting their importance as habitats for wildlife. All of this underscores the incredible richness of our forests. They are not just vast green spaces, they are complex, living systems that support a tremendous diversity of life. Protecting and managing these resources wisely ensures that both nature and our communities can thrive now and into the future. Let's take a closer look at the current state of our forests. As of 2003, the total forested area in the country was about 7.2 million hectares, which accounts for roughly 24% of our total land area of 30 million hectares. Now, that might sound like a significant amount, but the reality is that our forests are critically endangered. To sustain healthy ecosystems and ensure they continue to provide vital services, like clean air, water, and biodiversity, we actually need to aim for a forest cover of at least 54% of our land area. That means more than doubling what we currently have. This gap highlights the urgent need for conservation and reforestation efforts. It's essential that we recognize how vital our forests are, not just for the environment, but also for our livelihoods and future generations. By understanding these numbers, we can better appreciate the importance of protecting and restoring our forests to achieve ecological balance. Let's take a closer look at some of the main causes of deforestation. First, logging has played a significant role, especially in the 1990s. For example, between 1991 and 1999 alone, lowland dipterocarp forests decreased by about 12%. That's a huge loss in such a short period. Another major factor is forest conversion for agricultural purposes. This includes establishing plantations for export crops like oil palm, bananas, pineapples, rubber, and even biofuels. These activities are often driven by economic demands and can lead to large-scale clearing of forested areas. Mining, industrial development, and hydroelectric projects also contribute heavily to deforestation. These activities tend to be quite invasive, often requiring significant land use changes that result in forest loss. Overall, the rate of deforestation has been quite alarming. On average, we're losing about 2% of our forests each year, which translates to roughly 550,000 hectares annually. To put that into perspective, that's about 63 hectares every hour, one of the highest rates in the world. Understanding these causes helps us see the bigger picture of how human activities are impacting our forests, which are vital for biodiversity, climate regulation, and our overall well-being. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. Let's take a closer look at the forest cover percentages. As you can see, the letters P, H, I, L spell out fill, which can remind us of the importance of environmental stewardship. Moving to the word forest, we see a range of percentages that highlight the varying levels of forest coverage in different regions or over time. Starting at 22.2%, which indicates areas with relatively low forest cover, then increasing to 23.7%, then 30%, 40%, 60%, and reaching up to 70%. These numbers show a clear upward trajectory, suggesting improvements or differences in forest preservation efforts. The key takeaway here is that forest cover isn't static. It varies widely and can change significantly depending on policies, conservation efforts, and human activity. This slide underscores the importance of tracking these percentages to understand our progress in maintaining healthy forests. It's a reminder that while some regions are making strides, there's still work to be done to reach higher coverage levels and ensure the sustainability of our forest ecosystems. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. Let's talk about mangrove forests, which are fascinating tropical coastal ecosystems. These unique environments are found where land meets the sea, and they play a critical role in protecting shorelines from erosion and storm surges. Mangroves are incredibly productive and serve as nurseries for many marine species, supporting biodiversity and fisheries. Moving on to coral reefs, these vibrant underwater structures are often called the rainforests of the sea. They thrive in warm, shallow waters and are home to an astonishing array of marine life. Coral reefs also act as natural barriers, protecting coastal areas from the impact of waves and storms. Next, we have seagrass beds, which are submerged flowering plants that grow in shallow coastal waters. They provide essential habitat for fish, invertebrates, and even sea turtles. Seagrass beds also help improve water quality by stabilizing sediments and absorbing nutrients. All of these ecosystems, mangrove forests, coral reefs, and seagrass beds, are interconnected and vital for maintaining healthy coastal environments. They support biodiversity, protect shorelines, and contribute to the overall resilience of our planet's marine systems. Understanding and preserving them is key to safeguarding our coastal communities and marine life. Let's talk about the remaining primary mangrove forests in the Philippines. You'll find these crucial ecosystems in Pagbilao Bay in Quezon Province, Ulugan Bay in Palawan, and Baez Bay in Negros Oriental. These areas are some of the last strongholds of untouched mangrove forests in the country, and they play a vital role in maintaining coastal health. Now, on a global scale, there are over 50 species of mangroves. Here in the Philippines, we have about 35 to 40 species, which is quite diverse. Among these, around 20 to 30 are shrubs and vines, highlighting the incredible variety and adaptability of mangrove species in our country. Mangroves are truly remarkable because they serve as nursery grounds for many marine species, protect our coastlines from erosion, and support local communities. So, Protecting these remaining forests is essential, not just for biodiversity, but for the health of our entire coastal environment. Are mangroves important? Well, they act as natural buffers for our coastal areas, helping to protect against storms, waves, and wind erosion. They also play a crucial role in preventing flooding by stabilizing the shoreline. Additionally, mangroves serve as sinks for organic and inorganic materials, including pollutants, which helps keep our waters cleaner. They're also vital as nursing grounds for many fish and shrimp species, providing a safe habitat for their young. Interestingly, a single hectare of mangroves can produce about 12.5 cubic meters of firewood and around 900 kilograms of finfish each year. This highlights just how valuable mangroves are, not only for ecological health, but also for local livelihoods. Remember, protecting these ecosystems is essential for maintaining the balance and resilience of our coastlines. The Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary, managed by UNEP, is a vital marine environment that relies heavily on seagrass beds. These seagrass beds are incredibly important because they provide food and shelter for a wide variety of fish and other marine organisms, supporting the entire ecosystem. They also play a crucial role in stabilizing sediments, which helps prevent erosion along the coastlines, a key factor in protecting these delicate areas. Additionally, seagrass beds are natural water filters. They absorb dissolved nutrients and trap sediments, leading to clearer water. This high water clarity not only benefits the marine life, but also enhances the overall health of the sanctuary. Connecting this to our broader theme, protecting these seagrass beds is essential for maintaining the resilience and biodiversity of marine ecosystems like the Florida Keys. Did you know that just 1 square kilometer of healthy coral reef can provide enough protein to feed over 300 people each year? It's incredible how these vibrant ecosystems support human nutrition. Despite occupying less than 1% of the Earth's surface, coral reefs are astonishingly productive, supporting more than a quarter of the world's total fish catch. That means they are vital to global food security and local livelihoods. In economic terms, coral reefs contribute at least $400 billion annually to the world economy. That's a huge impact, reflecting their importance not only ecologically, but also economically. Specifically in the Philippines, coral reef fisheries generate nearly $1 billion each year and provide livelihoods for over 1 million small-scale fishers. This is why we often refer to coral reefs as the rainforests of the sea. They're teeming with life and full of resources. To give you a glimpse, here's a beautiful photo of the lush coral reefs of Lanuza Bay, captured by Haraban. These ecosystems are truly remarkable, and understanding their value underscores the importance of protecting and conserving them for our future. Rochelle R. Gonzaga has documented an impressive 430 species of corals, spread across 70 genera. This represents about 80% of the world's coral species, highlighting just how rich and diverse this region is. Within this diversity, there are 12 species that are endemic to the Philippines and Indonesia, meaning they are found nowhere else on Earth. This really underscores the unique biodiversity that our region holds. The Philippines, in particular, is known as the center of marine shore fish diversity, which means it's a hotspot for species richness. When we look at the bigger picture, the Philippines, along with Malaysia and Indonesia, forms part of the Coral Triangle. This area is renowned for having the highest concentration of marine life on the entire planet. It's a vital area not just for biodiversity, but also for the health of our oceans and the global environment. Understanding this incredible diversity is key to appreciating the importance of conserving these ecosystems. It's a reminder of how precious and fragile this natural treasure trove truly is. When we look at the trends regarding mangroves, the most significant cause of their destruction is habitat loss, primarily due to intensive and uncontrolled aquaculture activities. This has had a devastating impact on these vital ecosystems. In fact, almost 70% of the mangroves in the Philippines have been destroyed since the 1920s. If we trace the estimated areas of mangroves over time, we see a clear decline. In 1918, there were about 500,000 hectares of mangroves. By 1970, that number had decreased to around 288,000 hectares. Moving into the 1990s, it further declined to approximately 140,000 hectares, and by 2000, only about 109,700 hectares remained. This sharp reduction highlights how human activities, especially aquaculture, have severely impacted mangrove forests. These ecosystems are crucial for coastal protection, biodiversity, and carbon sequestration, so understanding these trends underscores the urgent need for conservation efforts. It connects directly to our overall theme of sustainable management and the importance of protecting our natural resources for future generations. Let's take a closer look at the state of our coral reefs and the economic impact of their condition. Currently, the Philippines loses about $420 million each year in potential revenues because of how we manage our fisheries resources. This is a significant amount that highlights the need for better management and sustainable practices. Our coral reef surface area is estimated to be approximately 27,000 to 33,000 square kilometers, which is a substantial part of our marine environment. However, the condition of these reefs has drastically declined over the years. In 1991, about 5.1% of our reefs were in excellent condition, but by 2000, that number had dropped to 4.3%. And by 2004, it was down to just 0.24%. This sharp decline tells us that our reefs are under severe threat. The rate of coral destruction is alarming, around 120 hectares per day, which amounts to about 36,000 hectares each year. The primary causes of this destruction are destructive fishing practices like blast fishing and muroami, which cause extensive damage to these delicate ecosystems. When we look at these trends, it becomes clear that coral reefs are declining rapidly. Protecting and restoring our reefs is not just about preserving nature. It's about safeguarding our future economic stability and the sustainability of our fisheries. This slide underscores the urgent need for action to prevent further loss and to foster more sustainable management of our marine resources. Now, let's take a closer look at the richness of our freshwater ecosystems here in the Philippines. We have approximately 1,616 species of aquatic plants thriving in these waters, showcasing incredible biodiversity. Alongside these plants, there are about 3,675 species of fauna, which include fish, invertebrates, and other aquatic animals. Our freshwater systems are quite extensive, consisting of around 211 lakes, 18 major rivers, and numerous marshes, swamps, and reservoirs, about 22 in total. These ecosystems are vital not just for maintaining biodiversity, but also for supporting local communities, agriculture, and even livelihoods. Understanding the diversity and scale of these ecosystems highlights their importance, especially as we consider conservation efforts. They form the backbone of our natural environment, contributing to ecological balance and resilience. So, protecting these habitats is essential for the health of our country and its biodiversity. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. Let's take a closer look at the regional biodiversity status and the threats facing our unique ecosystems. As we focus on the Philippines, it's clear that our country is incredibly rich in biodiversity. We have a vast array of species, from the lush forests to the vibrant marine life. However, despite this richness, our biodiversity is under significant threat. Habitat loss due to deforestation, urbanization, and agriculture is one of the biggest challenges. Additionally, illegal wildlife trade and pollution further threaten the delicate balance of our ecosystems. Understanding these threats is crucial because they directly impact not only our environment, but also our communities that rely on natural resources for their livelihood. Protecting our biodiversity isn't just about preserving nature, it's about safeguarding our future. So, as we continue, let's keep in mind that the health of our biodiversity is a reflection of the overall health of our environment and, ultimately, our well-being. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the key biodiversity areas in southern Mindanao. Starting with Mt. Hamiguitan, which covers about 31,879 hectares. This area is really important because it serves as a critical habitat for many unique species. Moving on, we have Mt. Sinaka, spanning roughly 1,749 hectares, and then Mt. Apo, the highest peak in the Philippines, with an area of about 99,091 hectares. Mt. Apo is not only a popular mountain for hikers, but also a vital biodiversity hotspot. Next is the Agusan River, covering around 120,288 hectares. It's one of the longest rivers in the Philippines and supports a diverse array of aquatic and terrestrial life. Then, there's Mt. Campo Liliputing Bato, which is quite expansive at 169,909 hectares, emphasizing its significance as a protected area. We also have Mt. Agtuganan and Mt. Passion, together covering approximately 85,501 hectares. Lastly, Bislig, with an area of 154,829 hectares, is another key site that contributes to the region's ecological richness. What's clear from this overview is that these areas collectively play a vital role in conserving biodiversity, supporting local communities, and maintaining ecological balance in southern Mindanao. Recognizing their importance helps us understand why protecting these key areas is crucial for sustainable development and environmental resilience. Let's take a closer look at some of the important watershed areas in southern Mindanao. First, we have the Agusan River Basin, which covers about 10,921 hectares. This area is crucial because it supports a wide range of ecological and agricultural activities. Then, there's the Tagum-Libuganan River Basin, spanning approximately 3,064 hectares. This basin plays a key role in providing water resources for nearby communities and ecosystems. Lastly, we have the Davao River Basin, with an area of around 1,623 hectares. These watershed areas are vital not only for their environmental significance, but also for their contribution to the region's development and resilience. Understanding their locations and sizes helps us appreciate how they connect to the broader theme of sustainable management and conservation in southern Mindanao. Now, let's look at some of the key players and projects in the region. Batoto Mining Corporation is one of the notable local entities involved in mineral exploration. Similarly, Philco Mining, also known as American Sur Corporation, operates in the area, highlighting the involvement of both local and international companies. Moving on, we have the BHP Bilitone Pujada Nickel Project, which is a significant nickel mining initiative, and the Kinking Copper Gold Project, known for its potential in copper and gold extraction. There's also the Masara Gold Project and the Amakan Gold Project, both contributing to the gold mining industry here. Additionally, the Diwalwal NRMDC plays a crucial role in managing and regulating mineral development in the Diwalwal area, which is rich in gold deposits. Now, an important point to consider is the map showing the overlapping boundaries of mineral potential areas and biodiversity priority zones. This overlay highlights the areas where mineral exploration coincides with regions of high biodiversity value. It emphasizes the need for careful planning and sustainable practices to balance resource extraction with environmental conservation. This slide ties into our overall theme of sustainable development, reminding us that responsible mining must account for both economic benefits and environmental preservation. Today, I want to highlight some significant developments in our forest management activities. First, there's a 65,000-hectare timber license agreement granted by the Arroyo government to Matuguena Integrated Wood Products, Inc., which is owned by Henry Wee. This license covers areas in the towns of Baganga, Mane, and Caraga in Davao Oriental. Next, we have a 45,000-hectare industrial forest management agreement awarded to Alcantara and Sons, or Alsons, in Talingad, Davao del Norte. These agreements are crucial because they represent substantial land areas allocated for timber production and forest management, but they also raise important questions about sustainable practices and conservation. Additionally, there's a plan to clear 100 hectares of residual forest lands to facilitate the entry of Dolstan Filco and AMS. This involves encroaching on the KBA, or Key Biodiversity Area, MT, Campo Liliputing Bato, which is located in New Bitan and Nabancharan. These activities, including logging and land conversion, are central to our ongoing discussions about balancing economic development with environmental conservation. As we proceed, it's vital to consider the impact on biodiversity and the integrity of our forest ecosystems while pursuing these forestry initiatives. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide.